Hello students, welcome to IFAS. So yes, in today's session we are going to start with the Othello. So till yesterday we discussed the whole story about Hamlet and how Hamlet is considered as the great tragic play. Yes, so in today's session we are going to discuss that how Othello is. So William Shakespeare's most of the plays are the tragic plays. Okay, so because Elizabethan was the age where tragedy was more into practice, and people used to love tragic plays. That is why this Othello is also one of his great tragedy that was very beautifully written, and it is also very interesting. So the story of Othello is also very interesting, and it is based on the jealousy, the then loyalty, then there are so many other aspects of tragic play that you will be able to see in Othello. Okay, so yes, and before we actually start the actual topic, I would like to wish all the beautiful ladies happy Women's Day. Keep shining and keep learning. Okay, don't stop your preparation. So even we have very good offer going on for all the ladies, for all the women, that our course, we are offering the course only at 4,999, but this is not only limited to women, because हर female के पीछे एक male का भी हाथ होता है. So you can definitely gift it to your brothers, to your husbands, maybe if they are preparing for UGC-NET, और whoever your friend may be. So आप सबके साथ ये share कर सकते हैं, so that everybody will get a chance to learn UGC-NET in such a low price. Okay, and किसी की भी पढ़ाई ना रुके, ये हमारा motive है इसके पीछे. So I hope आप सब लोग ज़रूर इसमें enroll करेंगे, because the batch is starting from 14th of March. So and offer is also limited to some days, so you can definitely enroll today itself and take the admission for the course, so that you won't miss your preparations. Okay, so this was about the course. Then also don't forget to subscribe to our channel, don't forget to share with your friends so that they won't miss their studies. And now, as we are talking about the different aspects of Othello. Okay, so as we saw for the Hamlet, Othello is one of the greatest tragedy which was written by William Shakespeare. Okay, so William Shakespeare को ऐसे ही father of drama नहीं कहते थे. He wrote such a beautiful work that his works made the whole drama age a very beautiful age. Okay, so his plays are very famous. So the genre of tragedy came into practice because of William Shakespeare. That is why he is so famous. That is why his works are so famous. They are also interesting, and even today we see so many works. For example, not only Othello, we can see Romeo and Juliet. So plays are still being performed on these topics about William Shakespeare. अगर आप देखोगे, Merchant of Venice है, Hamlet है, या Othello है, then Romeo and Juliet है, then Tempest है. इन सारे के सारे प्लेज पे अभी भी लोग एक्ट करना पसंद करते हैं. ओके, दैट इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग अबाउट विलियम शेक्सपियर दैट यू शुड रिमेंबर. एंड ऑल दी वर्क्स ऑफ विलियम शेक्सपियर आर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. So whenever you get time, keep reading about William Shakespeare, because he is a very important person from the British literature perspective. Okay, so today we are going to study one such beautiful work of William Shakespeare, that is Othello. So the name of this play is, the complete name of this play is The Tragedy of Othello, Moor of Venice. Okay, so as I told you about the what you call it, Hamlet, again there is one. So about Othello, so Othello इतना ही नाम नहीं है play का. The whole name of the play is The Tragedy of Othello, Moor of Venice. Okay, So you should know this. Then important, so it is also icon. Students, just hold on for a minute or so. We are going to begin the session. So till the time, I would just explain it to you some of the things. So basically this play was set around 1602, okay, 1602 to 1604, okay. Remember this. Okay, so extremely sorry for the inconvenience caused to you and for the disturbance that caused in between the live. But let's continue. I'll just revise whatever we have discussed as of now. So William Shakespeare's play is called, so Othello is called as the iconic tragedy of William Shakespeare. Okay. Why it was called as the iconic tragedy of William Shakespeare is what we are going to study further. Now, there is one more thing you should know, that it is also called as the Great Revenge Play. Great Revenge Play, okay, because it is very much into practice, okay. So, the story was set in Venice. Now the story is all about the Othello, and it revolves around the Othello, an African general, and his treacherous junior officer Iago. Okay, so this whole story is all about the Othello and his treacherous officer Iago. So he was a loyal person, but so earlier he was loyal to his work, but later on he was also very cunning. He wanted to destroy Othello in total, okay, and he also knew how Othello's behavior is, how Othello is as a person, so he wanted to banish him from that position, okay. So, and yes, he was also an African general, so that is why he wanted to destroy Othello. Then so the first performance was between 1604, okay. Then it is also the tragedy of character. So there is a tragedy of character, and it is based on the story on Captainio Moro, a Moorish captain by Cintio, who was the disciple of Boccaccio. Okay, so Boccaccio ka jo, so disciple of Boccaccio was the person Cintio. Okay, so that is the whole story about. That is the story of Othello. Okay, and the theme of this Othello is racism, love, jealousy, revenge, betrayal, and repentance. Okay, so these are the different what you can call it themes of this poem. So racism, how racism is what we, because Othello was a black person, okay, so he was from the South Africa, so that is why, or North Africa, so that is why he was the Moor, a person from North Africa. So that is why he was black in color, his complexion was black. That is why there comes the racism, and so you will see in the story how the racism comes up. And then also love, so he fell in love with a very beautiful girl whose name is mentioned later on. We will see her name as well. Then jealousy, then revenge, betrayal, and repentance are the all themes of this play. Okay, yes, good morning Ritvik, very good morning to you. Now we are going to look at the characters, and before we look at the characters, here I would also like to mention one thing about what John, okay, so here I would like to mention about Samuel Coleridge, what Samuel Coleridge said, because a question have been asked from this part. what he said, Iago had motive motiveless malignity. Means Iago had no motive, only hatred. Okay, is what is said by Samuel Coleridge. So always remember what Samuel Coleridge said, that Iago had motiveless malignity. Okay, means Iago had no motive, only hatred for Othello. Now we will pay attention to the characters. The first character, and so he is called as the protagonist. Sorry. Of the play, Othello, African general in Venetian army. Then Desdemona. So Desdemona is the love of Othello. Okay, Desdemona, Othello's wife and Brabantio's daughter. So who was Desdemona? She was Othello's wife, plus she was Brabantio's daughter as well. Then Iago, Othello's trusted but jealous junior officer. Then Emilia, Iago's wife and Desdemona's maid servant. Then Cassio. Cassio was Othello's loyal captain, or you can also call him as lieutenant. Then Bianca. Bianca was Cassio's lover. Then Brabantio. Brabantio was a Venetian senator, or Desdemona's father. You can call him. So he has both the positions there. Then Rodrigo. Rodrigo was a wealthy Venetian and Iago's friend as well. Then Montano. So Rodrigo was a person who was also in love with Desdemona. Okay. Then Montano, the former governor. Then Gratiano was Brabantio's brother. Then Lodovico, Brabantio's kinsman. And then there is Duke of Venice. So these are the important characters. Now the play revolves around Othello, then Desdemona, Iago, Emilia and Cassio and Brabantio. Then all the other characters are minor characters. So these are the major characters. And these are the minor characters. So this is what you have to remember. Okay. So now what happened actually was what happened in this Othello is what we are going to study now. So let's look at the summary. Now what actually happened in Othello was, so there was Othello and he had a very beautiful wife, Desdemona. So he married to Desdemona. So they both were in love, and they had a secret marriage. Okay, because Othello was black, and he knew that if I would ask for the marriage to Desdemona's father, then he will not agree to it. Okay, that is why they had a secret marriage. And then Iago comes to know about that marriage. Okay, so when Iago comes to know about that marriage, he tells it to Rodrigo. Now Rodrigo is in love with Desdemona. That is why he feels very jealous, he feels very bad, and he feels very angry that how Othello, so now Othello is already black. वो दिखने में इतना अच्छा नहीं था, वो ब्लैक था, फिर भी डेस्डेमोना कैसे उसके प्यार में फंस गई. ये सोच के Iago and Rodrigo decides to tell Brabantio about it. Now who is Brabantio? A father of Desdemona. So now when they tells Iago and Rodrigo tells Brabantio about their secret marriage, then Brabantio gets very angry. First of all, he did not believe it. कि उनको ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं, हाउ कैन डेस्डेमोना इज अ वेरी गुड गर्ल एंड शी विल नॉट डू समथिंग सच लाइक दिस, बट देन she is already, so now but they says कि जाओ जाके उसकी रूम में देखो, वो नहीं होगी. So when he sees in her room, so she was not there, and then he agrees that yes, now Desdemona is married to Othello. Okay. So then Brabantio gets very angry on Desdemona and Othello. So he goes to Othello and he says कि नहीं, तूने मेरी बेटी को फंसाया है. Okay, because a person like you who is dark in color, Desdemona cannot marry a person who is such a bad looking person, is what Brabantio says. So यहाँ पे you can see that the racism takes into place. Yes, so there is a comparison between black and white here. That is, the racism comes up. So as we move ahead, यहाँ पे मैं कुछ comment जो है वो mention करना चाहूंगी. That the new online batch कब start होगी is what Kumar Joshi is asking. हमारी classroom batch नहीं है क्या is what Shraddha is asking. So I would like to answer Kumar and Shraddha कि हमारी online batch जो है that is starting from 14th of March. So you can enroll today itself because the course price is less right now. Okay, and the contact number is also provided to you. You can directly contact on that number and you can take all the information related to the course. Okay, so Shraddha, for you as well, आप classroom batch तो हमारी अभी स्टार्ट नहीं हुई है, बट यू कैन डेफिनेटली एनरोल इन दी ऑनलाइन क्लास जहां पे आपको घर बैठे सेम पढ़ाई करने मिलने वाली है. ओके, so yes, for Kumar and Shraddha, I hope I am able to give the answer for your questions. Okay, so Kumar, the new batch is starting from 14th of March. Yes, now coming back to the topic, as I was saying that yes, then Brabantio very humiliates. So Brabantio humiliates Othello that because he is black, and he says you have tricked my daughter to love you. मतलब तूने ऐसा कुछ तो किया है जिसकी वजह से मेरी बेटी तेरे प्यार में फंस गई, क्योंकि तू इतना डार्क है, तू इतना गंदा दिखता है, nobody will marry, और मेरी बेटी तो तुझसे शादी कर ही नहीं सकती. Yes. So that's what Othello says, that's what Brabantio says to Othello. So here you can see the racism comes up. But later on, Desdemona agrees, and Desdemona says, she confesses that no, I am in love with Othello and he has not tricked me at all. I myself decided to marry him and I am in deeply love with him. Okay, so then Brabantio has no option left to accept Othello as his son-in-law. So that was the situation. Then what actually happens is then they start their marriage very happily. But now what happens is then comes into picture Cassio comes into picture. Now Cassio is a very brilliant, very intelligent, very active person of Othello. Okay, so now what happens is, now looking at the work of Cassio, Othello is very happy, and Othello makes him the lieutenant of his army. Okay, so now, and Cassio has a very good personality as well, and he is very happy-go-lucky person, and he keeps on keeping everyone happy, keeps on making everyone smile. Okay, वो सबको खुश रखता था, सबको हंसाता था. That is why he takes Cassio and he says, Othello says to Cassio कि अब it is your duty to keep my wife happy too. Okay, so you have to make fun, or you have to do such thing जिससे मेरी बीवी भी खुश रहेगी. Okay, so he says Cassio कि अब आपको मेरी बीवी को भी ऐसे ही खुश रखना है. Okay, so now और हंसाते रखना है. So now what happens? Now Cassio is a very good-hearted person, and he is doing his best to keep Desdemona happy. Now what happens? Now Iago is making a plan to trick Othello. Now what he does, he says that Cassio and Desdemona are in love or are in secret affair. Now Othello is not ready to accept this fact. So what he says, you have to prove it, that yes, they both are in love, because he is not ready to have, or he is not ready to trust Iago. So what he says his wife Emilia to somehow take Desdemona's handkerchief, okay, and bring it to me. So Emilia does it because Emilia is very well mingled with Desdemona, because she is the maid servant of Desdemona. So she can be around with Desdemona for the maximum number of times. So she takes her handkerchief and she gives it to her husband. So when she gives it to her husband, what he does, he gives it to Cassio, and then Cassio starts using it, and then he says to Othello, Iago now says to Othello that so this is the handkerchief, I have got it from Iago. From Cassio. So Cassio was using this handkerchief. Now when Othello looks at the handkerchief, he remembers that yes, this is the handkerchief which I gifted to Desdemona. So now how Desdemona is how it is with Cassio, right? So that was the question in his mind, how Cassio was using the handkerchief which was given to Desdemona. So then he goes and asks Desdemona, where is your handkerchief that I gave to you? So she comes with another handkerchief and she says that this is it. So he says, no, this was not the one which I gifted you. Where is the one which I gifted you? Give that to me. She searched and searched, but she did not get it. So then he gets very angry and he decides to kill her. Okay, so she kills her, Othello kills Desdemona, and then what happens was, so he gets very jealous. So now here jealousy is into picture, right? So, excuse me, I'm extremely sorry. So this is the whole story of Othello. So he kills his wife. So his wife was already loyal to him, but only by listening to Iago, he kills his wife. So that is a very bad thing happens. And when he later on understands, he decides to take the revenge from Iago. That was the whole story. So now we are going to look also in detail the whole story. So Iago is furious about being overlooked for promotion and plots to take revenge against his general. So Othello, the Moor of Venice. Iago manipulates Othello into believing his wife Desdemona is unfaithful, stirring Othello's jealousy. Othello allows jealousy to consume him, murders Desdemona, and then kills himself. So that is the whole summary of Othello. So now let's look it one by one, act by act. So in Act 1, so before Othello begins, Rodrigo has been pursuing Desdemona, okay, a Venetian noble woman. One night he hears from his soldier friend Iago that Desdemona has secretly married his general, the Moorish Othello. So Iago bears a grudge against Othello for overlooking Iago for the lieutenant position. Now here what happens? So because Cassio, so Othello thought that Cassio is the reliable person and Cassio is the trustworthy person. So he gives the position of lieutenant to Cassio. But actually if you see, it was the Iago's position, okay, and but he thinks that the most deserving person for this post is Cassio, so he gives that position to Cassio, and now because of that Iago is angry with Othello. So instead Othello chooses Michel Cassio, leaving Iago only at the low rank of ensign. Iago urges Rodrigo to continue his pursuit of Desdemona. He knows Senator Brabantio, Desdemona's father, will dislike having Othello as a son-in-law. So, late at night, Iago and Rodrigo wake Brabantio and tell him the news of Desdemona. Then Brabantio angrily summons the militia to arrest Othello. At that moment, officers arrive to summon Brabantio to an urgent meeting of the Senate. The Senate is concerned about the imminent threat of a Turkish invasion fleet on Cyprus. So, full of fury, Brabantio goes to the council. So here the war was also going on, so that is why, and they needed Othello's army to win this war. Okay, so they needed support of Othello's army. That is why he agrees that it's okay even if you marry, even if he marries to his daughter. So Brabantio interrupts the council, claiming vengeance against Othello, but Othello is already there because he has just been put in command of the forces to repel the Turks. So Othello explains how his stories of military prowess have helped him earn Desdemona's love. Good storytelling is the most important trait in the companion after all. Then afterwards, Desdemona is called to reinforce the tale and defend her marriage. Okay, so now Desdemona comes and she says that yes, I am in love with Othello. And following Desdemona's defense, her father disowns her and she chooses to go with Othello on his campaign. So she plans to travel in the care of Lieutenant Cassio and with Emilia, Iago's wife. Okay, so this is the Act 1. Now in the Act 2, in Cyprus, Montano, the governor of Cyprus, and his soldiers greet Cassio, Iago, Desdemona and Emilia as they disembark. Othello soon arrives with news that storms at sea have dispersed the Turkish fleet. A night of celebration is proclaimed. So now here what happens, because even so they did not have any fight there, but they defeated the Turkish. How? Because the Turkish fleet were all destroyed because of the storm in the sea itself. So eventually Othello's army was into power again. So Rodrigo confesses doubts about his potential to woo Desdemona, but Iago assures him that there is hope. He urges Rodrigo to challenge Cassio to a duel that night. So then he challenges Rodrigo to fight with Cassio. Iago gets Cassio drunk and Rodrigo incites his anger. So Montano, the governor, is stabbed during his attempt to contain Cassio. So Othello is angered by the fight and blames Cassio, stripping him of his recent conferred officer status. Okay, so here because of the fight, now he is blaming Cassio for everything. Then there is Act 3. The next day, Iago convinces Cassio to ask Desdemona for help in regaining his position. Now what happened here? Because of the fight, now Cassio was removed from his position. Now Iago goes to Cassio and he says that Cassio, you are a good friend of Desdemona. You can go and ask Desdemona for help. So he goes. So when Cassio asks, Desdemona innocently agrees. So now Desdemona agrees, and she she asked Othello to take Cassio on the position again, and Othello also agrees with it. Meanwhile, Iago has sown seeds of jealousy in Othello's mind. Till now, what has happened? Now, Iago has borne the seeds of jealousy into Othello's mind. Now, he started telling that, see, Desdemona is taking side of Cassio. What is the need of it and everything? Okay. And then the handkerchief parts come into picture. So now Othello gets jealous and suspects her of infidelity. Okay. So now here there is a very good line. Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster. It is said by Othello. It is said in the Othello, Act 3, Scene 3. Then what happens? In Act 4, Iago continues to inflame this jealousy. He encourages Othello to listen in on and the interpret part of a conversation between Cassio and his mistress Bianca. Cassio and Bianca discuss how Cassio obtained the embroidered handkerchief that he then gives to Bianca to copy. So Othello's agitations at that he hears brings on an epileptic fit. So after recovering, he orders Iago to kill Cassio. So Desdemona cannot understand Othello's change of attitude towards her. So Othello even strikes her in the presence of her relative Lodovico, who has arrived as an ambassador from Venice. So as she prepares for bed, she talks with Emilia, singing to relieve the distress she feels at losing the trust of her husband. So here there is a general conversation going on between Emilia and Desdemona. In Act 5, meanwhile, Rodrigo has begun to suspect Iago is not quite the friend he seems. Still, Iago persuades him to attack Cassio that night. So again, to be able to court Desdemona. In the fight that ensues, Iago goes undetected and wounds Cassio. So he then enters again himself to accuse and kill Rodrigo for the act of wounding Cassio. So now here Cassio is he is the antagonist. Who is the antagonist? The villain. So he is the antagonist. And then so Othello comes in his sleeping wife's bedroom to murder her as punishment for her supposed adultery. Okay, so then he kills, but later on, so he soothes her with a pillow as she asserts her innocence. Emilia alerts the household, causing Iago and others to come to the scene. Othello defends himself, mentioning the handkerchief as evidence. Emilia realizes that has happened and betrays Iago's plots against Othello. So Iago reacts to his wife's accusations, stabs and kills her. So see here, even Iago has not forgiven his wife. So he kills his wife as well. So Iago is arrested and sent to trial after Othello wounds him. So he doesn't even die. So Othello, facing the inevitability of his own trial, uses a hidden weapon to commit suicide. The play ends with Cassio reinstated and placed in command as governor of Cyprus. So then again Cassio was the governor in the command as governor of Cyprus. Okay, so this is the whole story of Othello. So Othello as a revenge play, if you see Othello as a revenge play, you can see that the play is about Iago's revenge against both Othello and Cassio. Then Iago's manipulation and lies motivate Othello and Rodrigo to pursue in vengeance. vengeance, and Iago's thirst for revenge is the main cause for destruction in the play. So this is how the play of Othello is a revenge play, is called as the revenge play. Okay, and if you say Othello as a tragedy, then you will see that Othello is a story of a noble military general who has enjoyed many success in the battlefield. And if you see the tragic flaw or the hamartia, what is the hamartia here? That brings his downfall for jealousy, poor judgment and thoughtless action. So here Othello was thoughtless with his actions. He was prey to the jealousy, and because of his poor judgments, he kills his wife, who was very innocent and who was loyal to him only with the earrings. Yes, and due to his outsider status, Othello has self-doubts, insecurities and a low of self-esteem. So this is the reason why Iago could manipulate him. Okay, so because he thought, yes, so Othello thinks that I am black, I am not capable enough for Desdemona. That is why, yes, Desdemona might have cheated on me, because but that wasn't the case. Yes, Desdemona was very loyal to him, but he did not think of that. And then this was the case in Othello. So that makes the Othello a tragic play. So that was it for today's session. I hope you have enjoyed the session. You have understood the whole Othello play properly. And till the time we meet next, happy learning.